Welcome, my tarot friends, to yet another episode of the Under Magnifying Glass series. And today we are talking about the threes. So this is our episode number 3. And let's just go into it. So here we have our threes in the Herbcrafterstarot. Here we have 3 of air, echinacea, 3 of fire, calendula, 3 of water, lemon balm, and 3 of earth, raspberry. But before we dive into the threes in this tarot deck, let's just talk about threes in tarot in general. So threes bring together masculine and feminine polarities, birthing something greater than the 2. The energy is outward expanding in the number 3, and the mission of the 3 is overcoming duality. It is linked to different things: manifestation, creativity, fulfillment, growth, conception, new beginnings, self-expression, vision, new horizons, and even harvest. Threes take the creative energy of each polarity that we see in number 2 and develop it and express it into entirely new creation. The number 3 represents the sacred trinity of the father, mother, and the child, or it also corresponds with the triple goddess, which is maiden, mother, and crone, and the cyclic transitions of the moon. 3 also represents the trinity of the mind, body, and spirit, past, present, and also future. Number 3s in the Herbcrafterstarot are the plants that are easy to grow, so we don't have much hustle of growing these plants. They are the plants that the Herbcrafter attempts to cultivate in her garden. These plants reward us with a big crop from little effort, so we don't have to do much for them to grow abundantly. Again, abundance is one of number 3s, right? These are beginners' herbs that are beneficial to pollinators as well. We had this in number 2s, but these are also beneficial to pollinators. And because these plants are so easy to grow, they offer us to create freely. So nothing can hold us back. We can express our creativity in growing these plants, which is exactly what number 3 is about as well: creation, creativity. These plants specifically represent a milestone for the Herbcrafter, because in her journey they create a sense of confidence and productivity while she works with them. So if we compare these plants to the aces, they grow the awareness that the herbs in aces sparkled, and they also bring together, or they meet the challenge that was encountered in the 2s, so they bring both polarities together. In the trees, the Herbcrafters awakens to the pleasure of the plants, and that is because she can create something new by herself, but she doesn't need to be too cautious, so she can express herself. And when we are expressing ourselves, we feel that joy and that pleasure in doing so. Now, like the last time, I'm going to focus on each card first, and I'm going to tell you what I noticed just looking at the card and what conclusions I came to when I was looking at the card. And then we're going to compare this to what it says in the guidebook. So let's firstly start with the 3 of air. So let's start with echinacea. So my thoughts, my feelings, my observations when I was looking and journeying in this card were: I noticed that the leaves here on the plant and the petals are very sharp. So that to me speaks of dealing with sharp, non-pleasant situations. If we look at the background, we can see that it's quite misty and cloudy, and that to me creates a mood. You know, it feels like it is just about to start raining, or it just stopped raining. And it kind of feels heavy because of that. I know that echinacea is linked to boosting our immune system. So the message for me here is that I have actually 2 messages. The first one is when our immune system collapses and we get sick, we come out of it. So after we recover, we come out of it much stronger than we were before the disease struck us. So what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, right? And then the second meaning in this case of echinacea and her ability to boost our immune system is that in hard times we need to find support, something that can help to lift us up, like echinacea would help us in disease, so when we are sick. If you look at the background, you will notice this irony type of roof that is rusting away. And needs to be changed, right? So to me that speaks of getting rid of what doesn't serve us anymore and replacing it with what does serve us. So in this case, they need to replace this roof. Here we can also see that some buds are unopened, and to me that speaks or represents a potential for personal growth and blooming. Obviously there's a lot of sky in this picture, and that to me is very obvious that it is an air suit. So even if we didn't have this written here, I would know that this is an air suit. These purple blossoms are very bold. To me that represents the truth of being honest, of looking at the truth, and the truth then brings you liberation. The flowers also are looking up, so it's like they're rising above the challenges and gaining wisdom, because this color here to me is purplish, and again I connect purple color in cards to crown chakra. You know, purple is also connected to wisdom, so it's looking up. It's looking up for the inside, from the above, gaining wisdom from whatever we grew through, you know. We grew through challenges up and gained wisdom. And now if we look at the guidebook, you know, we have 3 points to start with, and they are: speak the truth about your heartbreak, be the medicine that heals the pierced heart, and healing from grief takes time. So the authors connect grief specifically to this card, which I find very interesting. So I'm going to be paraphrasing what else it says in the book. So it describes petals as pink and not purple. So therefore, in my opinion, this relates to the heart chakra again, because like I said in one of the videos before, the heart chakra at the top is pink and at the bottom it's green. And we know the 3 of air, usually we have depicted the pierced heart, right? Heartache leads to self-knowledge. So we understand ourselves better after harsh situations or after we went through the grieving process. In the US, the wild echinacea is endangered, which is an agonizing reality, so the painful reality. So this represents the pain in this card, that this plant is endangered, right? And then it speaks about the fact that we need to see reality for what it is and accept the loss or pain or grief. Healing comes from learning from the devastation or learning from this grieving process. Plant medicine is helping us to have a strong body and be resistant to infections. So to me that says that if we embrace the painful truth, then that leads to resilience. It also speaks about finding allies who will help us through hard times or through grief. And then it explains that echinacea grows really slowly. So that talks about the fact that we need to take time to process the grief, to process the pain, to not rush through it. Remember that later when we look at the major arcana cards, I will relate back to this. So yeah, and then we have 3 points for crafting, but I'm just gonna share one with you that I really liked, and that is to buy only cultivated echinacea. So when we heal the earth, we heal us all. I really like that. You know, those small little things we do, and if we do them, in the end we're all gonna heal the world. Thus we're gonna heal all of us, because we are all part of one, right? We are all one. When you realize that, you start living your life a bit differently. Now let's move to 3 of fire. Okay, so we have calendula here, a plant that I love dearly. I actually just bought some seeds for these 2 plants the other day in the store, after I was deep diving into these cards, which is, yeah, I can't wait to plant them. So let's go into my observations first. We can see that there's a lot of action happening, the things are being made, things are moving. We have a lot of orange and vibrant colors associated with fire and sacral chakra, which is all about creativity and expression and creation. Calendula is being used in multiple ways. So to me that speaks about being open-minded, about gaining perspective and expanding our horizons about certain situation or about certain things. We see that there are 3 bottles here, which represents number 3, and then we also have 3 mortars here. So because the scene is very busy and bright, it fills one with joy and happiness. I know that calendula has healing properties on many levels. So that speaks about us having a lot to offer and to be creative with our expression. The table, if you look at it, is quite messy. So putting all you have to offer out first and then choosing what you're going to do with it. We see that there's some incense burning here. And that brings you into that flow and mood you want to be in when you are creating, when you're crafting. And then if you look at the guidebook, it says the first 3 points are: take joy in prolific, passionate play, delight in your own unique expression. Creative inspiration will last more than one season because we know that calendula grows really easily and keeps on coming back. Once you plant it once, you're gonna have it for a very long time in a garden. So it says calendula grows abundantly and easily in all varieties have healing properties. The efficient coloration of the flowers brings excitement and joy. And these are exciting times because we have many different shades of orange, and I think it comes even in the other colors, not just orange and yellow. And then it says that playful creativity is infectious. Allow your ideas to find wildly original expressions like the many colors of calendula. Calendula growing season is long-lasting and fruitful. And that speaks about us remaining enthusiastically committed to our goals. So on the picture, it will take time to finish all the crafting, right? It doesn't look like you can do this in like 1 hour. It takes a lot of time to do what she's doing. So stay committed and enthusiastic. Then it says to step into leadership with confidence. To me, why confidence, you think, right? Well, to me personally, orange color relates to sun, right? So we have two associations here. First of all, sun talks about solar plexus chakra, which is being our true self and being confident true self. And then also it reminds me of the sun zodiac signs, and if you look at the fixed sign, it is the Leo, and Leo is very confident, courageous, and a natural leader. And then it also says to explore new art forms and take decisive action. You are going to be decisive if you are confident like the sun, like Leo is. And then if you look at the crafting, the one that I liked is make magical creativity confetti with dried calendula petals. Use it in everything. I like that. Again, very pagan-y, which I talked about before how much I like. Now let's go to the water suit. So 3 of water, lemon balm. So my observations in this card. So first I noticed that we have teas, and I know the teas in this deck are connected to the water suit. It looks very childlike, tea party or celebration with the cakes and the 3 teas, and that talks to me about that more people are coming together, chatting and sharing joyous moments. The teapot and the teddy remind me of an innocence, so having a pure heart and pure intentions. We see lemon balm at the back, and I can actually smell it when I just look at it, that freshness. And I can also see the cupcakes here, and I can taste them. We have a lemon and raspberry, which are all very, I don't know, it kind of wakes you up when you eat soury, sweet things. It like brings that joy and excitement when you eat them. So when I'm looking at these, my senses become alive and awake. Then we see quite a lot of yellow here, which triggers to me the solar plexus vibes. So expressing yourself and being your true self and having a strong sense of who you are in the world, recognizing your own strengths and celebrating them. So the setting to me implies that. We also see that there's a blue flower here and a blue pot. To me that implies throat chakra and being able to express yourself. The cups, if you look at them, they are mismatched, which speaks of 3 different people coming together. If you look closely, you can see bees buzzing around, and to me that brings a movement and energy onto the scene. They create an energetic, busy feeling to the picture. And we see that there's a lot of green in the picture as well. To me, again, I relate that to the heart chakra and having an open heart and being able to connect with others. Also see the heart on the teapot, right? So to me, that again speaks of heart, of opening your heart and being open and vulnerable as well. Okay, now if you look at the guidebook, it says, lift your spirit with the scent of happiness. Pleasure shared is pleasure multiplied. Celebrate your heart's delight. It talks how happiness is contagious and that bees' scent of lemon balm bring life to the garden. It talks about how we have to celebrate our friendships and make new friendships as well, because we have already done the work to attract the right people. You know, setting out the table, making cupcakes, etc. So we prepared the field. And now all we need to do is wait for it to happen, which again is related to number 3 in Tarot. Lemon balm spreads widely with no effort, similar to the calendula plant. So it says to allow relationships to grow with ease. I love that. It also speaks about showing admiration and appreciation for others. So having an open heart and expression, what I noticed as well before. Express your joy in all areas of your life. Lemon balm tea supports peace and calms an anxious heart. How cool is that? So now it is the time to proclaim your true feelings. Again, heart pot. So it's a lot of this in the guidebook. It talks about having an open heart and being vulnerable and love, And then for the crafting, it says, enjoy fresh lemon balm tea to lift your spirits. It is a very light-hearted, very uplifting card. Yeah, very joyous. Okay, so this was 3 of water. Now let's go to 3 of earth. Okay, so my observations here first. We can see that we have baskets here, and immediately that speaks to me about the earth suit. The baskets are full of raspberries, and that to me speaks of work has been done to get to this point. And if you look at the baskets closely, they're leaning in 3 different directions, and that could very well mean that there's a possibility of 3 different people picking this up. So they have done the picking, but now they have to walk the path here in front of them. So it is a work in progress. It is not yet done. So not all work has been done. And we can see that also here, like on the left, we see that the fruits are still on the bushes, and here on this side they have been picked. So there's still some work to be done. We can also see that there's a lot of green on the picture, and again association with the heart chakra and also to the earth suit. To me it feels like a very hot day, and that means that it isn't easy to work, but it is worth it. So if you share the work, it will be done faster, right? If more people working, it's going to be done faster than if you were doing this all by yourself. And if you just look and focus on the fruits and tasting the fruits, so they are delicious, right? So that speaks to me about enjoying the good stuff in life. And then we see the reddish color that to me speaks of passion and being passionate in what you do and share it with others, as it is contagious, just like joy. And then I know that raspberry leaf tea, if you are a person who is ever pregnant, you know that they suggest you to drink raspberry leaf tea because it strengthens your tissue. So that speaks to me about making sure that you stay strong when working on your projects, to not neglect, your body, to not neglect that need of staying strong and supporting your body. And now if you look at the guidebook, it says, at the background we see cedar trees, and I googled it because it doesn't go on about what it means in the guidebook. So what I found, that the spiritual meaning of cedar is protection, wisdom and strength, which is literally something that raspberry leaf tea also gives us, right? And also working with others, we gain that wisdom and protection. If you're not alone, there is more chances that you're gonna be protected if you're with other people, and the strength we gain from the raspberry leaf tea. How cool is that? Okay, so it says then, company brings joy to hard work. You have a responsibility to tend to the abundance you have been given, because we were given these fruits, but if we just leave them there to rot and fall away, it's all wasted. So use it for many different things, just like raspberry can be used in pies, syrups, baskets, teas, etc. Wow, how beautiful is this related and connected. And then it speaks about that teamwork multiplies productivity. I was talking about saving time before, but also productivity as well. In the guidebook it says then, trust your leadership and organization skills, approach others with clear expectations, And to me, I relate this to the clear path in front of them here. So clear expectations, right? Trusting that you're going the right way, trusting that you're organized, that you're going to get there. Raspberry doesn't bear fruits for the first year. Now that is something that I did not know. And they only start producing fruit in the second year. The first year, raspberry caves create the foundation. So then this means the creating value for generations to come, creating and building the value for the generations to come. Together with your community, you can build a strong legacy. Raspberry tea tones weakened tissue and energizes the body, like we talked about before. So you are competent and up to the task, but you need to keep yourself strong. Also, like I also noticed that raspberries are delicious, so enjoy the sweetness of life. And then if we go into the crafting, I chose harvest raspberry and make jam with friends and enjoy it all together all year. So isn't that good? So you're doing something together and then you're enjoying it later on. Like it creates that value for later, right? For generations to come, but just like for later as well. I really, really like this card. And now if we compare these cards to our major arcana cards that correspond to number 3. Okay, so in the major arcana, the cards that correspond to number 3 are the Empress, the Hanged One, and the World. So 1 + 2 is 3, or 2 + 1 is 3. And when I was studying this, I came to a few very interesting realizations here. Okay, so if we look at the Empress card, right? It is all about growing and birthing new things to life and being creative, and that's all related to number 3. Empress is a Mother Earth in many cases, or many senses. It is the one that births creation, right? So it's all about creativity and creation in number 3. It is also about, you see, we have Rose, right? Rose has a very gentle petals, but also thorns to protect herself, to stay strong. So we talked about that need to have an open heart, but also to stay strong, right? To be able to protect yourself whilst you grow. Then if we look at number 21 first, the World. So Pachamama it says. And Pachamama means World Mother. There's a great connection between the World Mother to Empress, right? Because she is often represented pregnant. So obviously a mother, and she's actually a mother to the Hanged Man, to the Hanged One here. So she, the Pachamama, has ability to create life through pain and joy. Now, of course, that immediately I think about the 3 of air and as pain, and the 3 of fire as joy, and also 3 of water, and the earth brings all together, I feel. But yeah, so it brings 2 polarities together to create something new, right? And that relates to number 3. We talked about it at the beginning, how bringing 2 polarities together is something that is a big thing with number 3. And that brings us to the Hanged One. So the Hanged One, we know that it's all about a new perspective on things. So for example, looking at the painful situation and finding good things in this painful situation, and transforming and transmuting situations from bad to good. For example, if you lose a job, it's very painful and very uncomfortable, and if we put ourselves in the position of the Hanged Man here, we can find an opportunity to find something, or we can see an opportunity, or we can see the situation as an opportunity to find something more aligned with our dharma, so to find a job that is more aligned with what we really want in our hearts. So the World card talks about how the lessons that you have or we have integrated on our journey may present themselves as if they are new. So new journey begins, or we reach this point in our life that we see these lessons as setting us up to something new, right? Because we know the world is all about the finish of the journey and walking into that portal to get again to the stage of the Fool, right? So this also then corresponds again to the Hanged One, as we integrate lessons and turn them into something new, changing our mindset, seeing things from a different perspective. And I said before that, remember, I'm going to mention something in later on to do with slow growing, right? Because Akinisha grows slowly. Okay, so in the Hanged One, we know that we need to pause, we need to go within, we need to, hang ourselves on the trees upside down, and gain new perspective. And it's basically not rushing through our growth. And how beautiful is that? Because we know that number 3 is all about growth and not rushing through growth. And this beautifully corresponds to 3 of air. Oh, it's so beautiful how all these cards are so well connected in the meanings, but then also how the authors decided to choose the plants or herbs to correspond with those things is just absolutely magnificent. And I'm not going to go into more detail about the major arcana because I will do that later on in the series, but let's look now at the court cards that represent or that correspond with number 3, and these are our queens, or in this case they're called madres. So let's look at those. So beautiful. I can already connect them just if I didn't see the writing here, I would know which one is what. So beautiful. So we can see, of course, in the air suit we have this tool to cut. In the fire suit we have crafting being done. In water suit we have teas or baths and water. And then the earth suit, here we have a bush that can be used for creating baskets. What are madres all about if we relate them to number 3, right? So madres, like I said before, correspond to the empress and Pachamama, because she is the Earth Mother. And of course number 3 in Tarot, as they are plants that are easy to grow, which speaks of abundance related to number 3. The madres invite the herbcrafters to care for others and herself, but also they invite her or him to actively share with others and guide them on their own path. But also they invite the herbcrafter to actively share with others and guide them on their own path. And how else do you do that than reminding them of a new perspective, which is the Hangman, and to grow from their challenges, which he responds to 3 of air, to start some new things, which reminds us to the world. And of course number 3, starting new things, expanding one's horizons, and bringing their polarities together and overcoming duality, which all links to number 3 in Tarot. Now, how beautiful is that? This Tarot deck literally amazes me every single time I study it. And if we just look quickly as last thing to how the cards relate to each other here. So I'm going to start with water because it's the most obvious one to me. It's like a lot of blues and the water. And it has that gentle water feeling. Then if you look at the fire here, we see fire here and orange again, just like in 3 of fire. In the madre, we can see a lot of earthly green, and it is a bush, just like the raspberry is the bush. And we have a lot of brown here as well, which to me relates to earth, And then in madre of air, it is a plant that grows really high up, just like this one. So motherworth. I love that it's motherworth for madre. And also we know that this tool is used in the air suit, so it's quite obvious. So yeah, we will go into the people's cards into depth as well in the future, more than just this. So yeah, this was the episode number 3. I hope that you learned something new. And I hope you noticed some things that I haven't noticed. So if you have, please write in the comments below. I would be so happy to see your perspective on it, to hear your thoughts on this. And I really hope that I see you again soon in the episode 4, where we are going to be looking at number 4 and all the cards that correspond to this number. So I hope you have a lovely day, lovely evening, night, morning, whatever time it is where you are right now. And I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.